welcome to another episode of Unzipped. And today we have my ultra special guest that you guys are meeting for the first time, not really, Jomario Jakes.
Hi guys, joining you live from Quarantine University.
Boom, and how are you today, love? I see you got that drink in your hand.
I mean, always just nice little Pinot in a disco ball glass. Look at us, look at us. Cheers.
Boom.
Boom.
And yeah, so, I would say this is the part, where we plug in something, but like, do you have anything to plug? What have you been working on?
I ain't got nothing to plug. I'm working on nothing. Just staying alive.
Boom, listen, aren't we all? Honey. And speaking of staying alive, how about these artists staying alive in this culture of today? Because today's topic is cancel culture. Because I feel like every time we blink, someone's getting canceled on the Twitter, on the Instagram, on the waves, girl. So basically, just to kind of give a background, basically, I would define cancel culture as basically when a celebrity or anyone who has some kind of renown or celebrity to them, or, they're famous for whatever reason, they say something, do something that kind of gets them on the blacklist of society. And then, they have to kind of like issue an apology and kind of get it back into good graces. And then normally when cancel culture comes into play, they tend to be canceled for a long period of time, quote unquote.
Exactly.
Do you feel that that's an accurate definition?
I think that's pretty accurate. It's pretty on the nose. Okay. I have my thoughts on cancel culture. So, I don't know. We can get into it. But yeah, your description was pretty much accurate.
Okay, well, tell me. Listen, this is what this is about. Tell me your thoughts on cancel culture, boo-boo. Let's dive in, straight into it.
To me, cancel culture is a weird beast. Only because when we think cancel culture, we think immediately of Twitter. We think of Black Twitter. We think of someone saying something out of pocket, something racist, whatever it may be, and immediately getting canceled by people on Twitter. But, I mean, I guess it can be effective. But going into this, I just want people to realize that Twitter is not the world. Yeah, it may seem like just because someone's canceled and they're no longer on your timeline, it seems like, yeah, they're gone for good. But there's an entire world outside of Twitter that's still funding them. So they're really not canceled.
I mean, sometimes
they are, but most times
they be.
I want to say a good 85% of the time, they're not as canceled as you think they are.
Oh, no, of course. Because I was about to say, because Miss Chrisette Michelle was trying to do a comeback for how long?
Well, yeah. She was. That was probably one of the only successful cancels I've ever seen in my life. I feel like she was canceled one day, and I haven't heard anything from her since.
Right? I feel like Miss Mama she had on that Basquiat skirt, honey, and she Basquiated the fuck right on off.
Boom. That's the last thing I know from her. The Basquiat skirt.
But that's. But on some real shit though. Honestly, because I feel like with her, she got canceled for basically doing the same thing that Kanye West did, and then Kanye West is still fucking here. It's like
honestly?
It's like that fucking. And if anyone has ever seen Paris is Burning, you know that there's a little part of Paris is Burning where they're on the beach, and one of the ladies in the video goes, "And that voice is still there." That's exactly how I feel about Kanye West. Every time he does something, gets canceled, and then he gets right back on the timeline. Right. And he gets retweeted, favorited, his sales be up there in the minutes, and I'm like, girl, he's still here.
That's another thing of cancel culture. It is a hypocritical culture. It's very much like it depends on what the person gives you to the degree of cancellation they'll get. If you get a lot out of them, as in music, clothes, art, fashion, whatever, it takes a lot longer to cancel someone than if it's someone who gave you one hit song years ago. You know what I mean? Like if Beyonce did something crazy right now, she would never, because she knows better. But if she did something crazy right now, and Cher did that's not a good example.
No. Rihanna.
Someone like, I don't know, fucking Amy Jo Johnson, the original Pink Ranger. If she did something crazy and Beyonce did the exact same thing that was crazy, we would cancel Amy Jo Johnson very swiftly. Yeah. But Beyonce would still be there.
Do you feel this because because it's like the difference in fan bases? Because like it's the difference of if you have, let's say, 50,000 people following you and 20,000 decide to stop following you, it takes more of an effect on your career as opposed to when you have 2 million and 50,000 people start following. So
Right.
it's like, okay, well, all right, and
I mean, I think it is that, but I also think it is just favoritism. It's like in your family, if like a family member does something crazy, you're gonna cut them a little more leeway than you would a stranger. I'll put it
and
that
that
way.
is true, and that is true because that brings me on to the next point because again, what we see a lot of in the music industry right now is this whole issue with dealing with minors and being labeled a pedophile or predator. Because, like, for example, we have R. Kelly, who we've known for the better part of literally almost
We grew up
two
with him.
decades. Yeah, I was
Yeah,
saying
we
the better
grew up
part of
with
2
him,
decades
literally.
of knowing that he's a pedophile. He's like was a pedophile and was doing crazy stuff out here, and
Like,
yet
we knew that in elementary school.
yeah, and we were still literally we up until like maybe a couple of years ago, well more than a couple of years ago, I would say. I don't know the exact number of years, but I would say we were still listening to well, not I wouldn't say collectively listening to his music because I wasn't, but you would still be able to hear him played in public without being booed by the general masses in attendance.
Right.
You know. So and there are certain places that will still play him and he don't get booed. So there's a lot of singing along when his songs come on.
It's a lot. I feel like that one is a long cancellation. It'll get there fully one day, but it has been a long one. It's because these allegations have been around for, I can't say allegations anymore. That should happen.
Yeah, I was
going to say the things that happened have been around for so long, it kind of desensitizes people to it.
True.
Like, we've been hearing this since we were like in 4th grade, literally. So when you hear something for that long, as crazy as it sounds, it does make it kind of seem like, oh, he's always been that way. So why would you do crazy shit now when before we were just listening to him? Shouldn't be that way. But I can understand how sometimes people do skew that way.
True. Because I would say, I mean, I don't want to get, because this isn't what we're speaking about today, but it kind of goes into it a little bit just because I feel like there's also not degrees, but there are, I guess, situations where I feel like things should be taken into account just in the larger scale of things. But when it comes to R. Kelly, there's no saving that man. He is a pedophile through and through. So
it's a chop. It's a chop case.
Chop, chop, chop. Chop, chop. So listen, I don't want to bring him back. I would prefer to leave him dead in the bed, child. Someone's gonna resurrect him one more time.
All the songs he's good.
For a special or something.
Moving on.
and what about Kanye West? Like I feel that some people have let him go, even though he still has a following.
Honestly, I'm not. This may make me sound like out of touch, but I can't exactly remember what was the straw that made everyone cut him off. I know he supports Trump, which is bullshit. I know he said some questionable things, like slavery was a choice. But when in time was it that everyone was all of a sudden like, no,
I just
Kanye,
feel like it was just kind of like a rolling effect. I feel like it was just little by little, you just got more people started cutting him off, and then something else would happen, another couple of people will cut him off. And then we just kind of snowballed into where we are now. Because I think it was kind of just going off of his last album release and then trying to force that whole church on us and then going into the gospel album. So, yeah.
For me, I think that is going to where my degrees come in. I mean, I wasn't faithful in a stand of his to begin with, but it's taken me a lot longer to cancel Kanye because nothing he's done to me has been like he's done crazy shit, yes, but nothing egregious when you think of R. Kelly. Like when you bring up the levels,
No. I'm not gonna say he's done stuff on R. Kelly's level. Like,
well, no. That's what I'm saying. Like when people are like, "Oh, fuck Kanye," I don't want to listen to. Like, I get it, but I also don't. I don't know.
I mean, it's more like I feel in the vein of why give someone your money that doesn't necessarily stand up for what you guys like, doesn't align with your beliefs, and who's, I guess, who's using your money to fund individuals who are using their power, who are using their power.
Exactly, it all makes sense in the grand scheme.
And I will say allegedly, because if I'm not mistaken, I read an article where they were saying that he never really donated to the Trump campaign.
He was actually
donating to the Democrat campaign.
Yeah.
So I don't know how true that is, and because I have not verified these sources.
Right. Slap an alleged on there. No one's getting sued today.
On there. So You know, I don't want.
We're not going to have Kim come in here with Courtroom Bob trying to sue us. No.
And just to bring it back to cancel culture, cancel culture. Do you feel that Caucasian celebrities tend to skirt the mantles and the grasps
I'm
of
gonna
cancel
say yes
culture
and no.
easier than, say, people of color when they do something coonish?
I'm gonna say yes and no. I'll say yes. No. I'll say no first because they are canceled at the same degree as black celebrities when it comes to black Twitter. But you have to understand their main base is white.
Oh yeah, true.
So if we cancel them, we get it. But the white fan base is still going to be in their corner, so they're not really canceled. It's like, so that's why I'll say yes and no. Like, yes, we do have that same energy with everybody, but no, because their fan base is white. So the white people are not going to be as offended as we are to certain things, and that's why when people bring up, oh, when they apologize for something racist, and their white fans go, oh, we understand, it's okay, we have to learn, but the black fans are like, no, he was apologizing to us, so what are you talking about? You can't accept our apology. It kind of just...
But they still do.
Yeah, they still do, and that makes it, their fan base is still going to be there no matter what. So we can cancel them all we want, but white Twitter's still going to be there for them.
Come on, white Twitter.
I mean, until they realize that this is everyone's fight, here we are.
Listen, and I mean, to be honest, you're totally right. I can't even play devil's advocate with what you said because, in all honesty, it's true. At the end of the day, when you are playing to a Caucasian base and you do something that alienates your base of people of color, it's not gonna have the same effect because, of course, if your main audience is Caucasian and you lose, let's say 10% of your base, it's not equal to losing like 60 or 50%, which is
exactly, and that all of those canceled makeup gurus that have done racist shit in the past. Yeah, we have dragged them to death, and we still drag them to this day. But they're still making money because they still have a fan base there that doesn't really care.
But then, what do we say about the people who know they did something racist? Know that they're kind of just giving out empty apologies to just kind of, appease the public. How do you now address the people who are people of color, who are part of the masses, who were quote-unquote offended by the statement made, and who continue to support these people?
That's a whole different beast.
Because I know a couple out here.
That sounds like a real personal at-home problem they need to develop in themselves and see what's really going on. I don't know. I mean, if someone was super offensive, you know me, it takes a lot for me to get offended. But if I were to ever get so highly offended that I felt I got to speak out about it, if I were to continue being their fan or continue supporting them, I'd have to look at myself like, bitch, like, what are you doing? Like, do you value yourself if you were offended, but you're still going to go out and support this person when there's a million other people who can do that same service for you? So
then now I have a question for you because again, it's a little serious. It's a little deep. Prepare yourself.
Give it to me, honey. It's serious Tuesdays.
No, because it's important because I do feel that you raised a valid point. Because not everyone has, I guess, degrees of what point they choose to cut an artist off. So just to bring it back, we were discussing the fact that that some stan bases, because they're predominantly made up of Caucasian stans, they don't necessarily, when they do something kind of racist or with underlying racist or colorist tones, they don't necessarily feel the consequences of it because because they have a more predominantly Caucasian stand base. So, do you feel that there's a more effective way to kind of make our culture a little bit more conscious, as opposed to canceling them and kind of never really fixing the issue?
Oh no, 1,000%. It won't happen on Twitter. I'll tell you that much.
Well, I'm not. Well, no. I hopefully I will say this. Hopefully no one's turning to Twitter to be the peacemaker of the world because that's definitely not gonna. That's definitely not what's gonna
Twitter's
happen.
the Wild Wild West. We just go crazy on there, and I love it for. I love that for it. But yeah, no, I don't think that a lot of most seriousness can be handled on Twitter. Twitter can be a news source, yes, but when it comes to deliberating, when it comes to talking points, no. I feel like, yes, there is a way to move around cancel culture and teach people how to actually rectify things that you're offended about, but that platform is not the space. I feel like people should be learning because everyone's not. The biggest thing I've always lived my life on is not everyone is like you. You can have the highest moral compass, you can do this, you can do that, you can be always happy. Not everyone's like you. We know not everyone had the same living experience, the growing up experience. Not everyone's in the same position you are. Not everyone has the same mental capacity you have. Even if you are going through the same trials, maybe your mental can handle it more than that other person. It could be the exact same situation, but that person's flying off the rails. You're just like, oh, it's just another thing for me to handle, and I'm going to move on. So you have to look at it in that space. One thing I will say when it comes to this cancel culture and the apology acceptance is when it's, oh, they were young, but they were like 18. That's not young to me. I'm sorry. If you can go to war, you should know what the fuck you're doing.
Not to war.
Listen.
If you can pick up a gun, Miss Mama, if you can shoot them bullets,
no.
you should know what
If you
you're
can go
saying.
to a strip club and enjoy yourself, no. Like, if you can do these things, if you can be in a porn, no. You need to know what the fuck you're talking about. And there are certain things you can be naive to at 18. But when it comes to things of racism and knowing what offends people, like, you're 18, not 9.
No, of course.
Like, I can't stand that whole, I was young, I'm learning. No, baby, you should have been learned that.
No, like, of course, I agree.
For me, if you're going to apologize with that, just say, don't say you were young, don't say you were learning, just like, bitch, I was stupid. Okay, now I get it. That's it. Don't say I was young, don't say I'm learning, just like, I was stupid. Now that I see everyone coming to me and telling me exactly how they feel, now I get it. Now, okay, maybe we can work towards something better. I was young, but that's not the reason. I was just stupid.
Yeah, no, I feel like it would go a lot better if they just owned up to it and just kind of said, well, listen, I thought about it this way, but you know what? As the years passed, I've had experiences, I've grown, my opinions have changed, and I feel like they've changed for the better, and I have a different mindset now. And that's it. Or just go back and delete it.
Do something about it. Change it. Shit. But don't say you were young, because if you say you're young, I'm thinking, okay, you did this when you were 8 then. If you're a teenager, I don't give a fuck. If you said that in school as a teenager, the teacher would kick you out of the class. So if you know you can't do it in class, why would you think you could do it online?
I mean, it also depends on where and what school you was going to.
Nah, I mean, if you're pretty egregious and crazy and saying racist shit in school no matter where you are, I feel like the teacher would be like, baby, what are you doing? Like, get out. Or at least reprimand you, or at least tell you something about it. I can't think of many places where you can say something off the wall and crazy, and an adult would be like, yeah, good job. Unless you're in school with the KKK.
Well, no, I mean, this kind of brought back memories because I called one of my teachers a lab rat with dreads. And my assistant principal laughed. But she was getting on my nerves.
Okay, but that being said, you shouldn't have done that.
No, of course not. I apologize.
But it still wasn't like you didn't like call them like.
No. I'm just saying no because in my mind it just reminded me of like sometimes as adults sometimes there are occasions. I'm not saying that would be an occasion where someone should laugh. But sometimes you do laugh at certain statements that children make because you find them entertaining when they make a statement kind of like, what the hell? It's so off the wall.
Calling someone a lab rat with dreads, that can be funny. If you were like, if they said some like, this fucking nigger over here, would the principal be no.
Some would. That's the funny part about it.
Racist, yeah, but they're not going to high five you in the principal's office. They're going to laugh about it at home.
True. But no, you're right. And I feel that in all honesty, I feel that instead of doing cancel cultures, unless it's going to be effective, like unless you know that for a fact they're going
Right.
to feel it, I feel that, and when
Because
I
some
say
people do need to be canceled.
yes,
I always throw that out there. Some people do, and sometimes you need to just get it real quick
no.
and just fuck you canceled.
Because
Others maybe need some learning.
no, that's what I'm saying. Because some people that should be canceled, I'm gonna say this now, Kaya needs to be canceled because
I don't need her.
huh?
I don't need her.
I mean,
She can be
honestly,
canceled.
I mean, she gives us in between when she's not using racial slurs or derogatory slurs or slurs against women. She's barely giving us a cackle. So why is she here?
Some people like her. I don't know what it is.
And then it's always,
Apparently she's
and then
charming.
with her, I always find it so funny that it's that so much of her following tends to be the LGBTQ community, and I'm like, but she uses the worst
It's always
language.
shitting on them. Well, us.
She uses the worst language possible, and every time she gets upset with any member, it just becomes a tirade of derogatory slurs,
Right.
you know, at that person, and it's like, how can you support that as a member of that community continuously, and follow her and think that she's that kind of level of funny?
Right. I don't know. It's hard to say. It's especially when it comes to minorities, and I'm talking about every minority. I'm talking about black. I'm talking about gay. I'm talking about all of it. It's kind of like you grow up with this. It kind of is that whole desensitized thing when someone is saying, excuse me, a racial slur, or they're saying something crazy. If they're not saying it in this very like fuck you and fuck your people kind of way, it's funny to us. It's, oh my god, they're just mad. They're just saying some crazy shit. It is what it is. So it's hard for us to decipher in certain situations on when you actually should be like, no, bitch, you can't say shit like that.
Do you feel that comes from? Do you feel that comes from also just the fact that a lot of times, well, not a lot of times, but in certain people's backgrounds, they've had a past where they've used that kind of language as a kind of a cover up when they were kind of still in the closet and
Yes,
didn't want to
1,000%.
be in hiding, and when now later on in life as an adult, it's, well, I used to say it too, or me and my homegirls say it, so then how do I correct them, because that's the language we use in between
Exactly.
us behind closed doors.
Oh no, 1,000%. I mean, not to be a therapist and try to diagnose people, but yeah, no, 1,000%. Me personally, I feel like there's just certain words that I don't even use, so that's my triggers, and I'd be like, ooh, like just like saying certain things, I'd be like, ooh, that'll make you feel weird saying it. So that's what makes it easy for me to cancel or cut someone off. So I'm like, why? Like, that's not even funny. So why would you even say something like that? Especially knowing that your fan base is largely that whoever you're talking about. So to me, it's like, but others, it is kind of like that. Oh, I used to say that, or I still say that with my friends. It is what it is. She's just kikiing. She's having a good time.
Yeah.
She's like, just, that's how we talk to them when we're mad. So what is it? And I guess, I mean, I can't fault anyone for thinking that way, but it's like, no one's ever going to learn if you still allow that to happen and you think that way. And that's really what it comes down to. So you can't expect someone else to learn if your fave is doing the same shit and you're like, oh, it's okay over here. But over here, you got to learn.
Exactly.
Like,
you have to hold, and that's the thing. You have to hold everyone to the same standard. But now it comes to a point where you have to decide how far you're gonna push that standard too, as far as the consequences go. Because at the same time, you want to give your faves that leeway because you feel that you know them. You feel that they're not that person. You feel that they just can't be that rotten to be using that kind of language.
Right.
So you want to extend that olive. Yeah. So you want to extend that olive rather give them the benefit of the doubt. So why can't we also give that same benefit of the doubt to maybe individuals that we don't like as much? But it also comes into play the fact, I call them the scorecards. You said it this one time from I said the scorecards in the sense of like, oh, you had one event where you said it as opposed to someone who's like continuously using it. Kaya. Like Kaya, for example, who's like, it's not like, oh, it was just a one-off situation, they apologize. and you never heard them saying it again. It's like,
that's in her vocabulary.
Yeah, like that's in her.
Like,
that's in everyday use.
Yeah.
So, yeah. So kind of to end the episode here on this note, I guess. Are we canceling cancel culture?
I would say let's not cancel culture, but let's reform it.
Yes.
Let's reform cancel culture.
Okay.
Let's work on the innards. Let's work on ourselves.
Yes.
And let's really get to the root of what we want to cancel and turn it into what we want to teach.
So hashtag reform cancel culture. Hashtag
reform cancel culture.
Hashtag defund cancel culture.
Defund cancel culture. Refund cancel culture. Let's just boom. Let's get it together.
Let's just educate and grow as a unit, as one together.
Exactly.
And
let's
love.
No. Oh, okay. That sign off, honey.
Deuces. No, thanks everybody for watching. Thank you for joining me.
Bye. Love you guys. Like, comment, and subscribe down below.